Today we are going to be talking about the All for the Game trilogy by Nora Sakavic, because I have tried to film this video a couple of times now, and the last two were just me going about it the whole time. So I've tried to make some more cohesive thoughts about this series that aren't just, oh my god, it's amazing, but it is amazing, and you should read it. So, let's start with The Foxhole Court, which is the first book, probably the most important, because entry point here. But, let's just say, this follows a boy named Neil Joston, who is a runaway. He is on the run, and you know, the reasoning why is kind of explored throughout the trilogy, and he is in a very tough situation at the beginning of the book. He's not sure what he's going to do with his next year of his life, and then he gets offered a place at the Palmetto State University Foxes, which is an EXI team, and basically he joins them, and the world is so much more complicated than that. And if you heard me mention EXI, EXI is the fictional sport in this universe. I think like lacrosse, but really, really vicious. And it's really cool game. So, firstly, I would like to just make a comparison that if you liked the Raven Cycle, I think you'd really enjoy this. On my Tumblr, you often get people that love the Raven Cycle, loving the All for the Game trilogy, purely because they're so character driven. Both of them are so character driven, and you know, if you've read the Raven Cycle, you'll understand what I mean when you want to adopt all the main characters. And All for the Game does the same thing. You want to have each of them and just hold them very close because they're very precious. Very precious. So, if you really like characters you really want to take care of, this one's for you. But the characters in this series are stunning. The main character is obviously Neil, and he is one of the most damaged characters I've ever read about. His past is explored throughout the series, and you kind of see how much he's been through. Not only that, but there is some supporting characters that are just stunning supporting characters. Like, the Foxes team is made up of broken individuals, and each one you get a snippet of what their life was like before they joined the Foxes. And probably the key ones are Andrew and Kevin, and Andrew is outstanding because he is, I don't want to say he is a psychopath or a sociopath, but he is not very well, let's say. He's not very well mentally, and his journey throughout the 3 books is one of the most interesting to follow. And then you have Kevin, who I personally think has some sort of Stockholm Syndrome-like vibes. I think this series is very good at having the mental illness themes. I think it's very important that we discuss it, and this series does a really good job about talking about it and the journey that you can make but still be not 100%. I think that's very important, so I think it's very good for that. You also have the representation of different cultures. We do get to have one of the key supporting characters is Latino, and one of the others, I think there's a couple actually, African American, I think. It was very vague, but I mean, one of them I'm pretty sure is, and that's it's Danielle. So, yeah, also on the EXI team you do get boys and girls, which is very good, so that's always a plus. The girls are incredibly strong characters. They aren't just there as to accessorize the whole piece. They are there because they are amazing. The female characters in this are amazing, and so we get the girls on the team, we do get different races on the team. Then we have the different sexualities on the team, because from the beginning one of the characters is openly gay, and then we discover another character is gay, and then another character kind of is demisexual, which is something I didn't think I would ever read about, but I'm so glad I have, because it's such an not talked about sexuality, but it does exist, and the writer has said that that's what this character would be if she had known about it when she was writing it, but she didn't know about it, so we just kind of have to infer, but it's very obvious from the beginning that this character could to be demisexual, so it was brilliant. I loved that part of it. The characters are just stunning. And then we have the plot itself, which obviously follows Neil as he's joining the Foxes, but there's a whole criminal aspect because of Neil's background. There's a very dark, gritty mafia vibe throughout the whole trilogy. It's just astounding. I really love mafia books apparently, because I've read quite a few now, but this series does such a good job of doing like the violence and the blood and the horror of it all, but also remains to have a really strong heart, and it's grounded by the sports aspects, because the XE is very important to Neil and to the series. It makes it function better, and it also is where some of the situations are played out. So you have a sport aspect that's really strong, and you have the crime aspect that's really strong, and you have characters that are really strong. So what I'm saying is this series is really strong, guys, okay? You should read it. That aside, we have also wonderful writing. This series is self-published. You wouldn't believe it's self-published. Nora Sakovic does such an astounding job of developing every character and bringing them on beautiful arcs. And some of them where you think the arc isn't even that great, you want to watch it because the characters and the plot are so well formed. It's just unbelievable. So, oh, I can't. It's just beautiful. And the fourth big reason why you should definitely read this series is because the Foxhole Court on ebook is free. The first book is free, and these two on ebook are only 99p each, or I think they're 99 cents as well, or $1. So they're very cheap to read, and this first one is free, and I think that because it's free, everyone should give it a go, because there's nothing to lose. You don't lose any money on it. It's just so much fun. And also not fun because the characters do get tortured and abused quite a lot. It's quite dark. Also, trigger warning for this whole series is like rape, suicide, murder, drug use, depression. Yeah, that's quite a lot. I think that's a fair trigger warning, is that this book does include a lot of dark themes, like I just mentioned, so that's something you should know going into it. They're really well dealt with, I think, especially the rape aspects. That's one of the most poignant scenes and one of the most powerful scenes in the whole trilogy. And if you get there, you will see what I mean. But yeah, loved it. Loved this series. If anyone gives it a go, please let me know. And if you have read it and you enjoyed it, don't tell me if you didn't like it, please. If you did enjoy it, please tell me, because I love this trilogy so much. But that is it for today. This is not a monthly recommendations video. I did say I'd upload that next. But in my defence, the book I'm currently reading has made me want to postpone uploading it, so I can include that book. So, I will see you then. Goodbye.